One of the hardest things as a parent is watching your outgoing, confident grade schooler become more shy and start doubting themselves as an insecure teenager. Suddenly, the kid who used to walk into a room without thinking twice starts overthinking everything. They stop raising their hand, they worry about what everybody thinks, they avoid hard things, they compare themselves to other people. Sometimes they start saying things like, I'm just not as good at that, or everyone else is better than me. As parents, it can feel confusing and honestly heartbreaking because you know your teen is capable. You see their strengths. You remember the confident child they used to be, but somehow along the way, their confidence started slipping. And here's what's important to understand. According to decades of psychological research, confidence is not something teens either have or don't have. Confidence is something that gets built or weakened through everyday experiences. And sometimes the things that loving parents naturally do to try to help actually do not build confidence in the way that we hope they will. So in this video, I want to talk to you about what actually builds confidence in teenagers based on research, not fake confidence, not just believe in yourself confidence, but real confidence, the kind that helps teens handle challenges, recover from setbacks, and slowly start believing I can do hard things. And when I talk about confidence, I don't just mean the teen who walks into a room and seems outgoing, because confidence shows up in a lot of quieter ways too. It is the teen who thinks, I can probably figure this out. It's the teen who can make a mistake without completely falling apart. It's the teen who feels like they belong somewhere. It's the teen who can feel nervous or awkward or unsure and still take the next step. That is really what the research points to. Real confidence is not just feeling good about yourself. It's built when teens have enough support, enough connection, and enough small experiences handling hard things that they slowly start to believe, maybe I can do this. So when our teens are struggling with confidence, the answer usually is not giving them more pep talks. It's helping them collect real life proof that they are more capable than they realize. The first thing that builds confidence, small wins that matter. One of the most important researchers in this area was psychologist Albert Bandura. His research on self-efficacy showed that one of the strongest ways people build confidence is through what he called mastery experiences. In plain English, that means we start to believe that we can handle hard things after we actually experience ourselves handling hard things. Not perfectly, not without nerves, but successfully enough to think, okay, I got through that. That matters so much for teens because confidence usually doesn't come before the action. It comes after the action, after they emailed the teacher, after they go to the club meeting, after they ask the question, after they walk into the room even though they'd rather stay home, after they do the thing they were sure they could not do. That is how confidence gets built. I like to think of these moments as confidence reps. Like muscles grow through repeated use, confidence grows through repeated small experiences of doing something that your teen feels is a little hard. But here's the important part. Look for openings in the conversation that you already are having with your teen to naturally build in these confidence reps. For example, if your teen says, I don't understand what's going on in math, instead of jumping in and trying to solve the whole problem, you might say, that sounds frustrating. Would it help to send your teacher a quick email just asking where to start? Or if your teen says, I don't know anyone in that club, you might say, I get that none of your friends are in that club, but just try it. You don't have to commit to anything. You could just go once and see if you like it. Or if your teen says, I can't talk to my coach about that, you might say, would it help to jot down what you think you might say first? The goal is to quietly help your teen take the next manageable step instead of avoiding the situation completely. Because every time they do that, they're collecting evidence, I can handle this. Make the challenge smaller, not disappear completely. A lot of parents get stuck here. We don't want to push too hard, and that's understandable. No one wants their teen to feel overwhelmed or embarrassed or set up to fail. But there is a difference between supporting a teen and helping them avoid everything that makes them uncomfortable. Because if a teen avoids all the hard things every time, they may feel better in the moment, but over time, avoidance can quietly reinforce the belief, I really can't handle that. Research from cognitive behavioral therapy, especially work on anxiety and graded exposure, shows that young people build confidence when they approach difficult situations in small, tolerable steps instead of avoiding them entirely. So when something feels too big, don't force it, but don't assume the only option is backing away completely. Instead, help make the steps smaller. You might say, that does feel like a lot. What would make it a little easier to start? Or, we don't have to solve the whole thing tonight. What would the first small step be? Or even, maybe the goal is not to do the whole thing yet. Maybe the goal is just to get a little closer to it. For example, if speaking in class feels terrifying, the first step might be writing down one possible comment before the class even starts. If joining a club feels overwhelming, the first step might be looking at a meeting schedule. If talking to the teacher feels intimidating, the first step might be drafting an email and deciding later whether to send it. Confidence grows best when challenge is real, but not so overwhelming that the teen shuts down. Be careful with praise. Now let's talk about praise, because this is one of those places where loving parents can accidentally miss the mark. When your teen is struggling, it's natural to say things like, "You're so smart, you're amazing, you have nothing to worry about." And of course, there's nothing wrong with loving and encouraging your child, but researchers have found that praise works best when it focuses on effort, strategy, persistence, and recovery, not just fixed traits like being smart or talented. Carol Dweck's research on praise and mindset found that when children are praised mainly for being smart, they can become more afraid of failure and less willing to take on difficult tasks. But when praise focuses on the process, what they tried, how they persisted, what strategy they used, it's more likely to support resilience and continued effort. So instead of saying, "You're so smart," you might say, "I noticed you stayed even when it started getting frustrating." Or, "You handled that conversation more calmly than you would have a few months ago." Or, "You asked for help instead of just giving up." Or, "You were nervous, but you still showed up." That kind of feedback helps your teen understand. My confidence is not based on always succeeding easily. It's based on what I do when something feels hard. Don't rescue too quickly. This one is hard, because when your teen is upset, anxious, embarrassed, or overwhelmed, your instinct as a parent is to fix it, to send the email for them, to contact the teacher, to smooth over the conflict, to make the uncomfortable feeling go away. And sometimes, of course, parent help is needed. But if we jump in too quickly, you can unintentionally communicate, "I don't think you can handle this on your own." Research on self-efficacy tells us there's a better middle ground. Be there to support your teen, but give them enough space to see that they really can handle the next step themselves. That might sound like, "I can help you think through what to say, but I want you to be the one who sends it." Or, "Let's make a plan together, and then you can take the first step." Or, "I'm here if you need me, but I think you may be able to handle this." The last sentence can be powerful, because sometimes teens borrow confidence from the calm belief that an adult has in them. Not false praise, not pressure, just a steady message, "I believe you can do this." Help your teen find a place where they feel they belong. Confidence is not only built through accomplishment, it's also built through belonging. Teens need places where they feel accepted, valued, and known. The CDC has highlighted that school connectedness has long-lasting effects on adolescent overall well-being, and research on school belonging has linked it to stronger engagement, better attendance, better mental health, and stronger academic outcomes. So when parents are worried about a teen's confidence, one of the questions that I would ask is, where does this teen feel like they belong? Because if the answer is nowhere, confidence is going to be much harder to build. Belonging might come from a club, a sport, a theater group, a part-time job, volunteering, a faith community, an art class, band or orchestra, or even one trusted adult at the school who notices them and believes in them. And I want to point out something important. The right activity is not always the most impressive one. It is the one where your teen feels comfortable enough to participate, contribute, and slowly develop a sense of identity. For a teen who already doubts themselves, belonging can be one of the most powerful confidence builders of all. Notice progress out loud. Parents often see progress before teens see it themselves. Your teen may still feel insecure, but you notice that they recovered faster after a disappointment. They went somewhere that they would have avoided 6 months ago. They asked for help. They tolerated an awkward moment instead of escaping from it. They tried again. Don't let these moments pass silently. You may think that those wins are obvious, but to a self-conscious teen, it may not be. So make sure to directly point those wins out, but also don't overdo it, like sometimes I tend to, or make them feel like you're watching their every move. Keep it simple. You might say, I noticed that you went in even though you were nervous, or that you seem disappointed, but you handled that better than I think you would have last year. Or that was not easy and you still followed through. Or I know that took some courage. These comments help teens recognize their own growth. And that matters because confidence improves when teens can connect their actions to real evidence of competence and progress. Support without taking over. One thing I've seen over and over in my work with teenagers is that they usually do better when they feel supported, but not controlled. The research backs that up. Research shows that teens tend to feel better about themselves when they have a strong, supportive relationship with their parents. And the parenting style that seems to help the most is one that's warm and involved, but still gives teens room to grow, make choices, and take some ownership of their lives. So when your teen is struggling, you want the message to be, I'm with you. I believe you can grow. I'll help you think this through, but I am not going to take over your life. Here's the script that you can use. I've noticed this has been hard lately. I'm not here to judge you or push you. I just want to understand what part feels hardest. We don't have to fix the whole thing right now. Let's just figure out the first small step. This kind of conversation helps lower defensiveness. It keeps your teen's dignity intact, and it leaves room for them to take ownership. The big takeaway. Here's the most important thing that I want parents to remember. Your teen does not need to feel confident first before they act. Most of the time, confidence comes after the action. First they try, then they tolerate the discomfort, then they see that they've survived it, and little by little their brain starts collecting evidence. I can do hard things. So the goal is not to raise a teenager who never feels nervous. The goal is to raise a teenager who can feel nervous and still take the next step. A teen who can make a mistake and recover. A teen who can ask for help. A teen who can walk into a room and think, I may not know exactly what I'm doing yet, but I can figure it out. That's real confidence. And that's built one small experience at a time. If you want more support helping your teen build confidence, organization, and independence in high school, download my free guide, The High School Roadmap Every Parent Needs. The link is in the description below. And remember, your teen does not need perfect confidence. They need practice. They need support. They need small wins that prove to themselves, I can handle hard things. And if you think this video is helpful, watch the next one.